the advisor is my parents, right? Every time when I want to innovate, I want to change things, there's a lot of multi-layer of approval. So if you ask me, yes, I will suffer, but the legacy I will not let go. Unless I try everything I have, when you're out there, right, you increase prices, it's very hard to drop again. So we try to maintain the market price because entrepreneurship is really about changing and moving along the way and then fine-tune, see which really suits you the best.
Welcome, Melvin.
Thank you, Ronald.
Yeah, so happy to have you. Yeah,
My honor, my honor.
So maybe like share who you are
Okay.
and what do you do for a living.
Okay, hi everyone, my name is Melvin. I run multiple businesses and then we're focusing more on limousine transportation in Singapore. So that is me in general. Also, I'm an entrepreneur, as you can see. Yep.
Okay. How long have you been an entrepreneur?
How long? Specifically in the limousine business, about three and a half years, I took over for my family business. In a journey of investment plus entrepreneurship, as long 7-8 years after I step out of my comfort zone as an employee.
So what made you step out of the comfort zone?
Wow, okay, that's a very good question, right? So back then, because I took over the family business, I'm a second generation business owner for my family transportation business. In my family, there is 3 siblings, right? My elder brother, I'm the middle one, middle kid, and then I have a younger sister. So back then, my parents wanted to retire, semi-retire, need someone to take over. If not, they will liquidate, they will solvent the business, right? So my brother, all the while, don't want to be in the business. So it only left me or my sister. My sister is still young. She's still in school. Back then, still in uni. So I take the initiative to take up the business. Yeah.
So willingly or not willingly?
Wow. Okay. Willingly because there's intrinsic value. Because it's a family business, right? There's intrinsic audience. You will know if you are second generation, you understand the business help the family in terms of we have food on the table, we have where we are today because of the business, right? The intrinsic value. Now, not willingly is because the advisor is my parents, right? Every time when I want to innovate, I want to change things, there's a lot of multi-layer of approval. But as an entrepreneur, we are here to solve problems. We are here to change things. So I don't see that as an issue. I see that as a hurdle that every entrepreneur has to go through. So that is why I took the initiative. And then it's also towards my nature. I like to do business. I like to interact with people, referral. So yeah, that's why I take up.
Okay, given what you know today, if we are bring you back in time, will you still make the same decision?
100% without doubt, yes, I will. I share with you a little bit perspective of entrepreneurship, right? Why would I take the action? Because I realize when I'm in an entrepreneur role, I'm a business owner right now. To me, there's more freedom for me, and I value freedom a lot because I'm a creative person. I like to do things within my space. I like to initiate things. So entrepreneurship suits me a lot. And then I get back a lot of freedom. Example, right? Now I own my own business. I never miss my kids' milestone as an entrepreneur, right? Because no doubt, entrepreneur, we need to fight fire here and there, but you have the time freedom. You can do a lot of control within yourself, right? So that is why I mentioned 100% without any further doubt. Yes, I'll still take up the role.
Okay.
Yeah.
So given another choice,
Yes.
a very, very well-paid employee, let's say giving you 50,000 a month, against entrepreneur maybe makes 10,000 a month. With freedom, what will you choose today?
Wow, money 很引诱人啊。I will still do the entrepreneur. Why? Because like I mentioned, I value freedom.
50,000 eh?
Yes, you see, money is one thing, right? They always say money can't buy you happiness, money can't bring you somewhere. Everything I tell you is bullshit. Why? Because in the world, you need money to do things. To be honest, right? You want to go for a holiday, you need money, you need blah blah. But what I'm trying to say is, when you have the freedom, you have the mindset and you have the thinking process and you have the freedom to think of certain ways to break through. Actually, 50,000 is minute because even with 10,000, you can do things with 50,000. I mean the correlation. Let's just say if today I don't have money, people out there will say, you don't have money, how do you start a business? To be honest, you don't need money to start business. That is one, right? As long you have a clear mind, you have a clear direction, you know what you want to put in place, you can always collaborate, you can always find opportunity. What is more important is the freedom and up here. Yeah. So I always tell people, if you want to invest in yourself. Anything above the head, is worth investing. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to up the game a bit
Up
further.
the game, okay.
Okay, a $50,000 being an employee and maybe $4,000 as an entrepreneur, which you are struggling and you're
Struggling, right?
almost every day at work.
Okay.
What will you choose again?
Well, okay, so this question, right, actually boils down to why do you want to be an entrepreneur? I take this because entrepreneur sometimes you need to fight fire, sometimes you need to go through tough times. Like example, 4K a month, sometimes $0 in your bank account. And why do you still need to continue? Now, for my case, is very clear, distinct difference. Is because I don't start the business with nothing, right? I started with something. The foundation is already there. For me, it's more like a legacy protection, legacy continuity. So if you ask me, yes, I will suffer, but the legacy I will not let go. Unless I tried everything I have and I still couldn't make it, then at least I tell myself I did my best.
So when do you know that you cannot make it really?
The fire. Like today, right, if you don't have money and your family will be suffocating, die or cannot eat properly because of 执着, I say, like in your business. Sometimes if you gotta let go, you gotta let go because it's always easy to going back to become an employee. Working for people is always easy. Resume, you meet the cut, what criteria you can solve their problem, you can always meet the cut. You can always go back to find a job. You can always do that is available, right? As long as you can meet the whatever cut, the job cut, right? But being an entrepreneur is something different because you're building something for yourself and for the family. And going through tough time, yes, there will be because you're all on this journey, you're in this journey by yourself, right? So it's definitely you will meet. So it's just that the fire, how 旺盛,
Okay, how do you know your fire again? I'm going to drill deeper again. The fire, how do you know your fire is no longer there or you are just tired?
Wow, okay. I give you an example. COVID time, right? It was the toughest time for the family business. Why? For transportation in Singapore, back then COVID time, hotel lockdown, majority of sales is from hotels. Hotels lockdown, we cannot do any business. So we transited, we changed the whole model. We almost go bankrupt, almost died, really almost died. But we transited, we do a lot of different business. So you see,
So what do you do other business? How
I transit?
How you transit and get out of it?
Okay, so we cannot do business, right? We cannot transport people because there's a criteria, right? Circuit breaker and all. There's no tourists, then we cannot do. So we transited to transport goods. And then we became an asset-like business. We became like a platform now. The funny thing is, back then when we were in the COVID thing, right? I went to China first. Back then China was quite serious in that situation, but it's not really involving Singapore yet. I was being locked down in China. So back then, I'm still working in the oil and gas. Then my colleague was saying that, you see lah, ask you don't go holiday, you still go, then lockdown. Then to me is, I never venture, I wouldn't know. I will want to see it myself, but I didn't know the impact was huge.
Which part
China, I
were you
went
at?
to northern part, Shenyang, during New Year time. New Year time, Chinese New Year time. Also, I want to experience the Chinese New Year festive thing, right? So I was locked down, and then I told my mom.
It's like almost 1 month before the actual lockdown in Singapore.
Correct. Almost, yeah. So I was there, right? Flight cancelled, cannot come back. I called my mom. I say, hey, this is serious. I don't know whether Singapore is affected, but apparently Singapore is still as per normal. So I find the earliest flight that we can. Then we came back with my wife. So when I came back home, right, I don't know whether I can say this in front of camera. The custom actually say you got to quarantine yourself within 14 days. When it's done, then you go out. But it's not out in the news yet.
Correct.
But when I'm at the Singapore custom, they told us.
Precautionary measures.
Correct. So we do it. Right, we do it. And then my parents still say, no lah, nothing lah, here everything is okay. You know, what is this? Financial crisis, SARS, COVID, all we went through, right? What is this? So I say, okay, never mind, we see how it goes. Then really lock down Singapore, and then the business cannot function almost for two and a half years-ish. So we have to pivot, we have to transit. Lucky enough, I mean, I don't just do Limousine family business, right? I have property investment, and the property part is doing okay, doing pretty well, I would say. Then yeah, we managed to tie through lah. So I would say, don't be arrogant. Not everything is the same. Entrepreneurship, the special thing about entrepreneurship is you always change accordingly. tweak along and then involve. Yeah.
So when you were stuck February in China, when you got back in Singapore,
Yeah.
then was that then you took over your parents'?
Still not fully taking over, but I still help out here and there. You know.
So
the
then
invoicing and-
when did you officially took over?
when COVID about to end. That's also when the business really almost cannot.
The last stretch already,
last
right?
stretch already, and then we say no, we got to pivot lah. We got to change.
Okay.
And
So
then now we are-
what things that happened then forces you to really pivot and boldly take this step really?
Wow. So one question is either you die or you try this new system. You have to do it. Even parents, right? They very bold. They also saw it. Statistics show, right? No sales, no business for 2.5 years. I don't know how SMEs can handle. That's why a lot of during COVID, a lot of businesses actually told lah, right? And of course, the government tried to help as much as possible. My parents also take some subsidized, but not sustainable lah. I would say not sustainable. So you really need to pivot, really need to change. So all the vehicle in the end gone.
So who prompted you the idea to pivot?
Actually, no one prompted. Is that I'm looking at the current landscape that we have, because during that period we already have Uber, Grab, and all already. We're looking at the business model, right? They are very smart. They don't use their own asset to run the business. They're using somebody else's asset, and I thought that was a very interesting business model, right? Not only that, you see Airbnb, they're using other people's house to run business, and a lot more out there. So I thought, why can't we do that? So we take a bold step and then we transited to that.
So was there any resistance coming from your parents?
No, surprisingly, because
Okay.
they already know it's at the
So they
lowest
almost give
point.
up hope already.
Yeah, it's always
lucky you
at the-
came in and
yeah.
just took over and take a bold step.
Correct.
After once you took over, what happened then? You pivoted to this. What are all the challenges that you faced during the pivoting?
The pivoting is actually quite smooth, to be honest, because drivers, they also need to eat. They also need their income, right? So they join and then we expanded. A lot of people come on board. Then our role here, we focus now purely on sales, right? We do the sales and then we let our drivers run. So indirectly, we don't know what will happen, but we try it out. Then after trying, we found it's actually a very good approach, because now we became an asset-like business. Big boys love it because lesser liability. That's one. Number two, now we don't need so much headache in terms of the manpower issue, right? We don't need to handle the man, the MC, blah blah blah, accident insurance. Now everything tagged to the driver itself, which is good. But of course, there's downside as well, right? If you talk about systemize, you talk about cleanliness, very hard for us to monitor. But we give our full trust to the driver because now they have full ownership. That's how we are pivoting, and then not much resistance. More or less, that is what we are going through.
Okay, so moving forward, the couple of years ahead, because now you have the oil crisis and
Yeah.
your business is definitely impacted,
yes.
right? Then how do you overcome with current inflationary prices that's coming up? At the same time, when you raise up your price, customer will complain. How do you manage the expectation?
Ronald, to be honest, right, we haven't raised our price yet.
Okay.
It's still as per normal.
Okay.
Why? Because we value our customer.
Okay.
Now, of course, we need to better the oil price, right? So right now, actually, I'm thinking at the back of my head, because we are going through this episode. No doubt, my fleet is still doing. Now we are structuring more detail. Example, which is the closest transport, right? To the distance, we'll use lesser distance to pick up the gas. We're using that to fight the inflation and the oil price, right? That's one. Another thing is, because right now we are a platform ready, we're thinking of ways like, what is next for us? I haven't have the answer yet. I haven't implemented anything yet, but it's at the back of my head, like after going through this 1 month plus, because of oil, because of next time EV, am I going to stay just a transportation business? Or is there anything that I can implement in the platform other than transportation? So this is just kicking start. I have no answer for you yet right now. Whether is it fighting against the inflation, we really are not, because I can easily tell customer, right, increase price for another $5, for another $10, but that is not what we want, because when we want to increase structure, right, it's always like this. When you're out there, right, you increase prices, it's very hard to drop again. So we try to maintain the market price because we want to value our customer. At the same time, we also want to make sure 老字号 continue to stay lah. Yeah. I don't have an actual answer for you yet, but it's a good thinking process for now. Every crisis, right, is a good knowledge or a good time for us to re-evaluate the business, and then how can we structure different way to tie across all this.
How much has your cost increased with the
Wow,
petrol price
crazy
going up? How much has gone
you
up?
see, most of our cars are diesel car. Why? Because last time diesel is the most cheap.
Yeah.
Standard, right?
Now more expensive.
Wow,
Right?
now most expensive. Last time, the most expensive one, $2.80, plus minus 1 liter. Right now, $4.60, and it's still
still going
increasing.
up some
Yeah,
more.
it's still increasing.
Would this mean that you deploy your petrol vehicle rather than your diesel vehicle?
Yes, more on my Alphard lah. Alphard is more on the petrol. And then because of this, today I share also we have EV cars as well. We're trying to bring in EV on board. Now we have four EVs car with us just to try. Why? Last time we wanted to bring in EVs, but it is not operational savvy for our business lah, because downtime too long. But now maybe the market requires, so we just bring it and see, test and move on, and see how it goes.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one very, very difficult question here.
Difficult, okay.
Okay.
Prepare.
Is better for you to inherit a business from your parent, or would you rather start a business on your own without your parents' intervention at all?
You are comparing toughness against 什么东西?
One will be easy to start,
Okay.
but you have an oversight by your parents.
Yes.
The other one is tough to start, but you have total freedom.
Control. Yeah, correct. So personally, I tried both, right? My personal opinion, I preferred I start by myself. But of course, depending on individual characteristic, right? Some people are more focused on own initiative, own movements, own everything is by yourself, right? Because you will see the growth, you see the achievement. Some people love that. You achieve something, wow, you know. Yeah, but other might be more comfortable when there is a foundation built properly for them, and then from there they expand. So it really depends on individual character. There's no right or wrong. Entrepreneurship is really about changing and moving along the way, and then fine tune, see which really suits you the best. So I don't have a specific answer, but for myself, I prefer to do things by my own.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah. I think freedom matters a lot. It's again, if you were to continue from your parent, then you may not have the credit to yourself. Then you say, you depend on your parent. So whatever you do seems been lost. Yeah. But you start your own. Although it's tough, but at least credit is all to yourself. Yeah. Then of course you have freedom. Then you don't have oversight of your parents saying this you cannot do, that one you cannot do. I'm more experienced, you have to listen to me, that kind of thing. Yeah. So I agree. It's easier, no matter how you are the only person in front and the only person behind.
Yeah, correct. Because let's just say if you do something by yourself, right? Let's just say if it fails, for example, it is a learning process for yourself, because you know that, I take this approach, I fail. We don't say fail, we learn along the way, right? There's no failure, it's learning. But when you, let's just say you take over somebody instruct you to do things, if you fail, sometimes you don't even know what's the mistake.
Yeah.
Where is the then you cannot rectify.
Yeah. I suddenly thought of it also. Then also you cannot see what are the hidden liabilities.
Yes.
Or even the hidden roadblocks or pothole that you can just fall into unknowingly.
Yep.
I'm quite sure a lot of people have gone through that as well.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. I think we had a great time, and Melvin is fantastic to be sharing, and generally is sharing as well. And we will want to invite more entrepreneurs to come on our channel to reshare their stories so that we can learn from each other. And thank you everyone. See you.
Thank you, stay tuned, bye-bye.
Bye.